Capo what?
Where do I put it up? Don't I have weird? Don't you give me weird things?
The practice what
Huh?
you're playing.
I don't
It was
remember.
well, it was capo 3. We changed.
Let me hear you first.
I'm ready. You ready?
Let's do
Let me
it.
hear you first. Got it.
Good morning.
Morning.
Please stand and join us in singing our gathering song, God and Everything. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. I feel God in everything.
Good morning. Thank you, Molly. Turn on your mic. That was the secret, whispering. Oh, hello. There's our director of the day, Mary Claire Anderson. we had I'll be right with you. Here's my dresser. Check 1, 2. We back? Thank you. We had a board training yesterday, and in the classroom there were representatives of 8 boards and 39 people in the board training yesterday. And just one of the things that the facilitator, the Reverend Charlene Manuel, asked us, she says if somebody was new and came in and just asked somebody who had been here for a while who was on the board, she says lots of people wouldn't know who was on the board. So we made an executive decision yesterday to introduce the director of the day every Sunday. So there's Mary Claire, our first director of the day. And welcome, welcome, welcome to Unity of Stuart. Welcome everybody in the room and online. Welcome to all who are watching on Facebook and YouTube. Let's go to YouTube first. Let's see, I'm just trying to see if the YouTube people are in the room before I say their names. We usually have with us Lana on YouTube, Jessica and Phil, Pam, Ann, Tony, and Irma. And on Facebook so far, we have Susan. Hey, Susan from Vermont. Good to see you. We have Barb from right locally, Palm City, I think. And we have Coral and Ellen. And so good morning, Ellen. You left us to go to West Coast, and we love you anyway. All right, and welcome to first-timers who might be in the room. If you're here for the first time and you're present in the sanctuary and you feel comfortable, I invite you to raise your hand. So Molly, who is also her first day as an usher greeter, so let's welcome Molly. So having said all that, if you're here for the first time and you feel comfortable raising your hand, please do so we can give you a welcome packet. I don't see any new faces in the room today. So that's on you. Go invite your friends and have them come to church with you on a Sunday. It's on all of us. What do I want to say about the welcome packet? Most of you have seen a welcome packet. If you'd like to grab one on the way out and hand it to a friend to invite them into Unity of Stuart, we invite you to do that. Anybody online, if you're here for the first time, or however many times you've been here, if you'd like a welcome packet, please email Eva at admin@unityofstuart.org, and she would be delighted to send you a welcome packet. What we'd like to everybody to know every Sunday is that we are a welcoming, affirming, practical path of spirituality. Everyone is welcome here, and not only is everyone welcome, everyone is honored. Thank you for being the church. It's Reverend Ron Neff's birthday today. Wait, 1 minute, Ron. Stay sitting. I want to say something. So what you may not know about Reverend Ron, after the minister previous to when I came here with my former husband, Ross, Ron stepped in as an unofficial... I'll get it out. As an unofficial transitional minister. And Ron was instrumental in me coming here because he called my former husband and said, hey, there's a really neat church on the east coast of Florida. Now, Ron didn't know me from a hole in the wall. And so he said to Ross, you think you might be interested in looking at it? And so Ross looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, yes, we are interested. And the rest is history that I won't go into now, but it is... Thank you, yeah. So now, Ron, please stand so we can sing you happy birthday. Please stand. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ron. Happy birthday to you. All right. Did you want to say how old you are? 39. Reverend Ron is 39. And so is Nancy Bach. She is 39. And she is our prayer chaplain who is on duty today. If you would like to have a personal prayer with a trained prayer chaplain, we invite you to seek out Nancy in the sanctuary today. You will know her by obviously her face and by her white chaplain stole. And she will pray with you, and she will hold your prayer in the highest confidence. Thanks, Nancy. And for those of you who would like to send us a prayer, you can send in prayers to prayer@unityofstuart.org, and we will make sure that they are in the prayer box, and they will be sent off to Silent Unity, which puts them in their prayer room, where somebody is in that room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holding people in prayer. And alternatively, you can call the Silent Unity prayer line at that number there. Anybody can do that, and you can also get some prayer there. Continuing on with our prayer chaplains, today is the last class, the last Sunday that you can sign up to talk to Amy about becoming a prayer chaplain. Amy will be in the foyer after the service. She's got a cool little sign that'll let you know who she is. And I just want to say, so let me just finish the slide. So you must be a voting member of Unity of Stuart in order to serve as a prayer chaplain. And this year, a situation that we came up with is if you are not a member and you would still like to become a prayer chaplain, you can take the training and become a prayer chaplain as long as you are committed to taking the next new member class, which I have scheduled for May 19th. So mark your calendar, not only for prayer chaplains, but for anyone else who's been asking me about a new member class. Then it will be one class. It will be, I'm going to say 2.5 hours, and that is on May 19th after church. So about the prayer chaplain program. If thinking about becoming a prayer chaplain scares you a little bit, that's a sign. That's a sign to have a conversation with Amy about what it's like to be a prayer chaplain. Because that fear, for me, always kind of means a tentative yes, and I have to look further into what's happening. So there's going to be a training manual for you, and taking the training doesn't automatically mean you're becoming a chaplain. You can change your mind, or Amy might not think you're ready. And so it's service to the community, joyful service, and it's also a way to deepen your own prayer life and to also support, quite frankly, to support me, because the prayer chaplains hold me in prayer, and they are strong pillars of this ministry. So if you are interested, please see Amy after the service. Coffee House is coming up this Friday night. So that's March 1st, March already.
I have some hints.
Okay, let's hear it.
So we're going to sing about tears, circles, riders, ants, water, jokes, changes, mistakes, and home.
Did you say tears?
Tears.
Yeah.
Not,
Tears, otherwise torn.
Oh, something, okay, all right, so there are your hints. So come and join us on March 1st. That's Friday night, doors open at 6:30, music at 7, and that's a $10 suggested love offering. I think that might be it for no, so Easter's coming. Easter is on March 31st, if you haven't gotten that memo yet. And we will be, of course, having our service here in the sanctuary at 10:30, and also our sunrise service at Santa Lucia Beach. And the sun is fully risen about 7:15. It starts to rise about 6:45. I will be there, at 6:30, or maybe earlier than that, because sometimes it seems like I'm in there in the dark. Is it dark at 6:30?
It is dark.
Okay, all right. I'll be there in the dark. What else? Oh, raising your voice in song for Easter Sunday. If you would like to join our choir for Easter Sunday, rehearsals are March 12th, 19th, and 26th at 6 p.m. in the sanctuary. Eva, is there a sign-up sheet out there for that? Yes, I think there is. So please sign up, and Doreen will reach out to you. And we're going to sing, what are we singing on Easter? Testify to Love. We're going to sing Testify to Love.
And Morning Has Broken.
And Morning Has Broken. So come and join us for the Easter choir. I'm going to take a deep breath because I need it. How about you? Today, our service is going to be a little different. The order of service, the meditation is going to be after the lesson, so we're not singing any meditation songs today. And what else? This will be the first Sunday in the entire history of my ministry career that I won't be reading a daily word. I will be reading a reading from the Buddhist teacher Ruth King. So in this Black History Month, please join me in dedicating our service today to the beloved community that can only come when racial justice, equality, and equity are served. From Ruth King. May we understand and transform racial habits of harm. May we remember that we belong to each other. May we understand that what we do can help or hinder racial well-being. May our thoughts and actions reflect the world we want to live in and leave behind. May we look after ourselves and others with great care. May we heal the seeds of separation inherited from our ancestors in gratitude for this life. May all beings be free from animosity, free from oppression, and free from trouble. May all beings without exception benefit from our growing awareness. May our thoughts and actions be ceremonies of well-being for all races. May we honor being diverse racial beings within the human race. May we meet the racial cries of the world with as much wisdom and grace as we can muster. And let's take a deep breath. Settling into this now moment as we open our minds and hearts to a world that works for everyone with justice, equality, and equity. And so it is. Amen. Oh, there's not what I wanted. You're coming. Hold on a second. I have an affirmation somewhere, I think. There it is. So together, let's affirm this affirmation from the prayer I just read. Together. My thoughts and actions reflect the world I want to live in and leave behind. And let's take that deep breath. And affirm one more time. My thoughts and actions reflect the world I want to live in and leave behind. And we're going to have an audio meditation once again, facilitated by Ruth King. I think it will play. Take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders. Relax right where you are. With open heart and open mind. Let's see. Again, a deep breath, if you will.
Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment and turn our attention inward and drop our awareness down through the body. Taking a moment to notice the experience of settling. Strongly held in the solidity of the earth like a tree. Roots reaching down for nourishment. Branches reaching up for inspiration. Upright, dignified. I sit. I sit, allowing awareness to travel through the magical pathways of my body, feeling energy moving around me, moving inside of me, moving through me. Anchored and aware, I become energy. I welcome and enjoy my aliveness. I enjoy the electrical nature of my body, connected to the rhythms of life. Settling. I wrap myself in a cloth of stillness, settled and still. I soften. I soften my body, light a fire in my heart, and relax my breathing. Settled, still, warm, soft like the clouds. I open with each breath. I feel the warmth of my ancestors, guardians, and teachers. I allow the warmth and wisdom of dear ones to infuse and inform me. I am grateful for this life and for wise and caring guidance. I relax into stillness, peace, and gratitude, resting on the lotus of becoming. Softening, opening. I breathe in the fire of strong emotions, breathing in love, breathing out love. I center myself in agitation, observing how my edges are shifting, noticing wholesome and unwholesome thoughts and feelings. Staying present and aware, I accept all qualities of myself. I let go of my mind and surrender to the ground of being. And I connect to this vast organism called humanity. Feeling the life that is around me, the life within me. I loosen my identities and attachments to be more special than others cause separation. And as my ego dissolves, I observed how little identity I need. And if fear follows, I soothe it with self-compassion. Being tender toward myself, I allow myself to dissolve, experiencing myself as part of the winds of change. I become tiny, then enormous, then hollow, merging with others, dancing with all things, everything and nothing at all. Aware, aware. I feel myself as part of a vast consciousness. I soften into vastness. I surrender to consciousness. Breathing in love, breathing out love. Breathing in peace, breathing out peace. I am light, radiant, beautiful, peaceful. Shine bright, precious one. Shine bright.
Sacred space, of love, of peace, of light. I invite you to bring into your awareness all of those who are on our prayer list here at Unity of Stuart, and all of those that are in our minds and hearts this morning. And if you'd like to speak names out into the space, please do. And turning everything over into the care and keeping of the One. I invite you to join me in praying this in the name and the nature and the light and the love and the peace and the wholeness of the indwelling Christ presence. And so it is. Amen. Amen. That was Ruth King, who wrote a book called Mindful of Race that we studied, I think it was in 2022 in a racial justice study group. And so now we're moving into our special music, and I want to say a little bit about the song that our Joyful Noise Choir and band are singing and playing this morning. If you saw the movie Brother, Where Art Thou? You've heard this song, as Down to the River to Pray. I think Alison Krauss made it famous on the soundtrack. And research indicates that that song was written by the enslaved in the 19th century who worked the fields. Other people seem to think it was a Native American tribal song that was adapted with Christian lyrics. And it was published in the 19th century hymnal, published during the Civil War and the post-Civil War Reconstruction period. And most people, the research that I did, say it was written by George H. Allen in Nashville, Tennessee, during slavery in the South, and was published in what they call a slave songbook in 1867, Slave Songs of the United States, with words uniquely colloquial to black slave spiritual songs of that period. And Allen, in the contents section of the Slave Songbook of 1867, mentions that the song tells worshipers to go down to the river to pray. And this could be an implied message about baptism, but whatever the message, the composer was thinking of their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, and their brothers. And the gentleman who wrote this article, by the name of David Kane, said, "I can imagine an enslaved family clinging to one another in this song's embrace." And he says, and isn't it interesting that a song from enslaved people still resonates in our culture 150 years later? Here's Joyful Noise.
Two.
As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down, down to the river to pray. Oh, sisters, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down, down to the river to pray. Down to the river, down to the river, down to the river to pray. Down to the river, down to the river, down to the river to pray. Down to the river, down to the river, down to the river to pray. Down to the river, down to the river, down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down to the river to pray. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down to the river to pray. Down to the river,
Thank you, joyful noise. What does it look like to go down to the river to pray? In Unity metaphysics, water is purifying, right? And many of us have been baptized, right? And the water is supposedly washing away sin, right? In Unity, of course, we don't believe in original sin, and we think that sin comes which is missing the mark, making mistakes, comes as we grow and we are exposed to culture and society, and we start to get there's a little bit of a shadow that comes. And when we go down to the river, whether it's truly going down to the river or it is in consciousness, then we can use that consciousness to forgive ourselves, to release ourselves from mistakes, and to remember who we truly are at depth. And so thank you once again. Thank you once again. So today we're talking about the critical topic of spiritual allyship to the Black and brown community. Amidst prevailing injustice and inequality in our world, it's our inherent responsibility and moral duty as spiritual beings and humanitarians to stand in solidarity with those that are facing everyday challenges in their lives because of skin color. So let's first address the elephant in most rooms, is that the systemic racism that's in our world is real, it's pervasive, it's affecting the lives of countless people every single day. And it started way back in the time when we enslaved Black and brown people. And it's still here, this implicit bias. I did a lesson, was it last year on Juneteenth? You can find that online and YouTube. So I'm not going to go over where implicit bias is, but you can do your own research about implicit bias in the systems of our country. But from microaggressions to blatant acts of discrimination, our Black brothers and sisters face challenges that we, and as white people, we cannot understand, that we can't even begin to comprehend. And as spiritual beings, it's for us to acknowledge that these injustices, that they exist in the world, and that we do the work to begin to dismantle them, dismantle the systems that uphold them. You know, allyship in spiritual life is nothing new. The master teacher Jesus taught a powerful lesson that you have heard of, I'm sure, even if you never went to church a day in your life, the Good Samaritan. Has everybody heard the story of the Good Samaritan? So this is and I'm going to tell you just in case you forget about it. There's great guidance in this from our master teacher with the Pharisees, who were always trying to catch Jesus in a mistake. They were always trying to discredit him in the eyes of the people who had started following him. So they asked him, what is the greatest commandment? Now, mind you, Jesus had 613 Hebrew laws to choose from when he was asked this question. So this was definitely a trick question from the Pharisees. And he answered, you should love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind. And he was telling us to put things in the proper order. We seek first the kingdom. We seek first the connection with our Christ consciousness in all things. That needs to be our primary commitment in this spiritual life. It's not our personality, it's not the things we do, it's not the things we have, but it's to connect with that thing we call God, that mystery that we call God, that mystical presence that lives, moves, and has its being as each one of us. To me, it means that I am on this ongoing journey of expressing my Christ nature, of expressing my inner divinity at the highest level and the deepest way that I can. And it means finding expanded ways to show up in the world. Now, let me be clear that I'm not talking about that we can't be happy or satisfied with where we are right now. We can be satisfied with the now and simultaneously knowing that I have work to do. That I am not, that even as perfectly imperfect that I am, I still have work to do to make the world a more just, equal, and a place with equity for people who don't have the color of my skin. There's always more to be revealed, always more spirit to be revealed, always more divinity to be revealed, always more higher power to be revealed. And so here's more wisdom in Jesus' answer to the Pharisees. And then he said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy strength, with all thy mind, thy neighbor as thyself. And then the lawyer, the Pharisee, kind of a lawyery kind of guy, and said to Jesus, if you have to love your neighbor as yourself, who is your neighbor? And here's the answer to that question. A man was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They took his clothes, they beat him up, and they left him half dead on the road. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he avoided him by crossing to the other side. Similarly, a Levite, when he arrived at the place and saw the man, also moved to the other side of the road and passed by. But a Samaritan who was on a journey came to where the man was, and when he saw him, he felt sorry for him. He went to him, treated his wounds with oil and wine, put him on his own animal, took him to an inn, and looked after him. The next day he gave the innkeeper 2 coins and said, look after him, and if you spend more than this, I will pay you back on my way back through. So we've heard a story or kind of this story 1,000 times. But one point that might be lost on us if we don't read the Bible or a Bible commentary is that there was distinct hostility between Jews and Samaritans at that time. And if Jesus was telling the story, it wouldn't be about a Samaritan. And I invite you to ask yourself what group it would be about. What group would be about? Where do we cross the street, either physically or in our minds? When we encounter, do we cross the street from? Who is that for us? What group of people seems to embody all that is different or unequal? Jesus would choose that person today if he were telling that story. And it doesn't really matter anyway. The story asks us, are we ready to see everyone as a beloved expression of the divine? And who are we holding out of our circle of the beloved expression of the divine? So can we each acknowledge that regardless of skin color or national origin or sexual orientation, that each of us deserves to be treated with respect and civility? Each of us deserves to be equal in the eyes of not just the law, but in our hearts. Each of us deserves equity and justice, meted out the same way to every single purpose. Now, I'm not going to go into stats, but I am going to encourage us to research what it's like to be black and brown in this world. With jails and the percentage of black and brown people who are in our country and the percentage of those people who are jailed. And it's not because they have done anything different than white people do. It's because they get punished differently than white people do. So, I digress. If it is you or me with white skin lying on the side of the road, all battered and hurt, and the person who stops has a different ethnic heritage or sexual identity or different skin color, are we willing to accept their help? I imagine that if I were on the side of the road, it wouldn't matter to me what the person looked like or who they loved. I would accept help if I needed. So in the story, the Good Samaritan, Jesus gives us the spiritual highest level, and he says, do not judge by a label, by ethnicity, or by skin color. When we label a group less than, we're showing our bigotry. And yes, even in unity, we can be bigoted. We are being asked to know for each person that they are a spiritual being and that they are expressions of the divine. You know, the first time I remember ever talking to somebody about race, I was probably, I want to say I was in 8th grade, and I was in the schoolyard with my friend Rich Woods, who's no longer on the planet. And I don't know what we were talking about prior to this question he asked me, but he said to me, are you afraid? Are you afraid of black people? And I said, yes, but I don't want to be. And that's how a lot of us with white skin grew up, right? Even if our parents weren't overtly racist, we grew up in that culture where black was bad and black was wrong and black people were more violent. And that comes right back from the times of slavery. So I invite you to think of that. Even ask yourself that question now. Am I afraid? What am I afraid of? And where did I get that fear from? And how do I begin to dismantle that fear? So, we may know what Jesus said about loving your neighbor and taking care of your neighbor and telling that story of the Good Samaritan. He ends this story of the Good Samaritan by telling the Pharisees, now go and do likewise. Go and do likewise. So our challenge isn't in the knowing that we may have implicit bias. If you're white, you have it. The challenge is not in knowing that we have it, it's the going and doing likewise. It's getting out of our comfort level and doing something to change it. And that's where the commitment comes in. It's the go and do part. Philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre said, commitment is an act, not a word. Commitment is an act. So what does it mean to be spiritual allies to the black community? First and foremost is to listen. Is to listen with an open heart and mind. It means amplifying black voices and stories. It means educating ourselves about the history of racism and how it continues to impact society today. And most importantly, it means taking action. Now, I'm not talking about performative action here. You know, remember when George Floyd was murdered, people put black profiles, pictures on their Facebook and Instagram pages. It's not about that. It's not about wearing a slogan or a t-shirt. Makes us feel good in the moment. But real change requires more than surface level gestures. It requires us to roll up our sleeves and get to work. And the way we do that is by supporting people of different color than us. It's about supporting black-owned businesses and organizations because economic empowerment is crucial to the fight against racism. And where we choose our money makes a real difference. So next time you're in need of a product or service, take a moment to seek out a black-owned alternative. And then we get to be involved in local activism efforts, whether it's marching for Black lives, whether it's signing petitions, or volunteering with community organizations. There's countless ways to lend your voice and support to the cause. And I'm going to go ahead. I was going to show this after the lesson. I'm going to show it now. Surge, showing up for racial justice, surge.org. Go there. You can find lots of ways to support there. You can join a training. You can sign up and register for things to do. Activism, make phone calls, send emails. Surge.org. That's a J. Oh. Fudge. SURJ.org. SURJ. So, and I also put in the, on the lesson page on our website, 2 lists. One of just books you can read, and one of all sorts of media, podcasts and other ways, and other books and movies that you can click on those links and get some help there. Back to that. Every change that has ever happened in this world happens from the ground up. And every act helps. Send money, sign petitions, support Black communities. Take time to educate yourself about issues affecting the Black community, both past and present. Knowledge is power, and the more knowledge we have, the better equipped we are. And quite frankly, for me, the more fire I get to stand up and be an active, committed ally. And it's not easy for me, and probably not easy for you either, to examine your own biases and prejudices. It's not easy. I follow this woman on Instagram. She's a black woman, and she will say things that I get triggered by. She doesn't coddle white women. She calls white women into examining our own implicit bias and our prejudice. And sometimes I go, oh no, her name is Portia Noir. I get triggered. I feel like I'm less than or that I'm bad, not because she's making me feel bad, because she'll say something like, now if you're triggered, and she has this beautiful soft voice, because you know why she has this beautiful soft voice? Because if a black woman gets strident about anything, she's automatically an angry black woman, and people turn off. White people turn off. Anyway, so she'll say, okay, and this is for white people, white women especially she talks to, if you're triggered by what I'm saying, take out your journal and journal about it. And sometimes I'm like, because it's hard for me and perhaps for you to continue to go within and interrogate my own racial bias. And yet, that's what I need to keep doing, and that's what you need to either start doing or keep doing. None of us are immune to what society hands us. But if we do this, if we examine our own shortcomings, our implicit biases, we can grow and evolve and be better allies. So when we witness discrimination or injustice, we cannot be silenced. If somebody tells a racist joke, do not be silent. Do not just go, and walk away. Say something. That's one small way. Even if it's somebody in your family who is that way, say something. Our faith, our spirituality causes us, implores us to be the voice for change, advocating for those who are being treated as unequal. We can put ourselves in someone else's shoes as best we can. Now, remember I said, there's no way we can understand. There's no way we can understand what the black experience is, which is why we need to listen to people, to seek out people like this person I seek out on Instagram, because I have to listen and believe when people tell you what their experiences are, what their lived experiences are. We can do a little bit to feel their pain and then commit ourselves to action. And again, we have to confront our own privilege. Those of us with white skin, we have to confront our own privilege. I heard somebody I follow said, I'm not going to call it white fragility anymore. Then white fragility, for those of you who may not have heard that term, is what I feel when I hear a black woman saying to me over and over and over again, you're not doing it, you're not doing well enough. You're not doing it well. You gotta keep going within. That's white fragility when I get triggered by that. This other black woman I follow says, I'm not going to call it white fragility anymore. I'm going to call it white ignorance. And ignorance only means we don't know. That's what ignorance means. We don't know. So we have to confront our own willful ignorance sometimes. We don't want to know, so we can just go along merrily on our way. At least that's how I used to feel. Why do I have to know that? Because I need to be part of the change so that I can help co-create a world that works for everybody. Ultimately, being a spiritual ally to the black community is about embodying the principles that we talk about, that we strive to live into here. The principles of love and compassion, equality and justice in everything we do. It's about recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every individual and working towards a world where everyone has the equal opportunity to thrive. It's about more than just words as I'm talking with words. It's about actions. It's about standing up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about using our privilege to uplift those who have been marginalized for far too long, especially in this election year. So I'm just going to say a few words about white Christian nationalism. White Christian nationalism is all about, it's not about Christianity. It's not about doing what Jesus would have us do. It's about grabbing power. It's about pushing down the oppressed even further so that those in that power tier, if you will, can get even more power. And it's about keeping black and brown people down. It's about getting rid of, eradicating LGBTQ people, transgender people. You know this, just look around. And it's also about keeping down people with black and brown skin. Because you know what would happen if black and brown people weren't disenfranchised in our world? If they had the voting power that they should have, if they weren't afraid to come to the polls, what would happen? We would have less of what we have had and more of what we want. Less of what we have had and more of what we want. So I challenge you to take a stand, to be vocal, to be visible, to be that change. We can create a future where equity, equality, and justice for our black and brown siblings are no longer the exception, but deeply rooted and ingrained in our society. We can do that when we stand together. I affirm this truth for each and every one of us. It's time for our celebration of abundance. And I want to just speak into thanking everyone for your continued love offerings, your tithes, your gifts, the consistent givers. I hope you feel the impact that you have in this moment as we bless the offering, knowing that your gifts help to transform the world. You see the ways to give to Unity of Stuart. Those of you who are online, I put that underneath the video. And you can go to our website, always hit the donate button, and donate whenever and however you like. Let's affirm our prosperity prayer and our love offering blessing together. In a universe overflowing with the allness of God, all of the needs of Unity of Stuart and those we serve are instantly, constantly, and bountifully met from every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected. Our abundant good comes to us now. We are grateful. Amen.
Amen.
And our love offering blessing together.
Divine
love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give and receive always in love. I have to say, go ahead. I have to say, as I was praying that, I give and receive always in love, I'm still mad from talking to you a few minutes ago. I mean, my anger is still up a little bit, so I just want to take another deep breath. As we give and receive always in love. All right. Let's sing.
1, 2, 3.
Whether it's sunny or it's pouring rain, it ain't
All right. This is when we bring the kids in, right? No, we do, I got a little, there it is, surge.org, SURJ. And you, like I said, go poke around on there and let me know what you find. We have a yoga class that is ongoing, just started last Wednesday with Sonia Holbrook. It's a vinyasa yoga class, gentle flow. That's on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. It started already. And all levels are welcome to attend, and a love offering is gratefully accepted. Today is our annual membership meeting. Once we get through, go back, and there's some good food left over from our board training yesterday. So I invite you to go through there and then come back and sign in, or at least get checked off that you're here. Even if you have already taken a packet, please go back and let Eva know that you are here. So we have to make sure everybody gets checked off so that we know that we have a quorum. So come and join us for that. Everybody's welcome to attend. I don't hear anything out there. Thank you, Scott. So Amy's going to be out in the foyer at the end of the service if you'd like to talk to her about the chaplain program. Our coffee house is on Friday night, so come and join us for that. And anybody else? Easter choir. What's that?
And bring your friends.
Bring your friends and come and join us for Easter choir. How are we doing, Scott? They're on their way? Let's stand as we sing our kiddos in. All right. Oh, Jen, I gave you the mic so you can ask the kids if they want anything to share.
Who wants to share? Does anyone want to share about the lesson?
All right. No, it's a perfectly good answer. No, it's a good answer. No. It's a big no, Jen.
Okay.
Hard no.
You guys want to share? No? Okay. So today we finished up the month of love with some loving kindness. The teens did a loving kindness meditation and they were with Cadence today, and the littles were with me, and we did a loving, caring activity for their age group. So it was a great lesson. I have some requests for large boxes, cardboard boxes, like refrigerator boxes, and smaller scale paper towel rolls. I need like 200. So
get busy. Get busy cleaning.
This is for camp this summer, so you've got time. Just have it in your mind. Oh, I'll save this for Jen and bring it to me on Sundays. I would appreciate that.
Yes. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it. Anything else? I need.
What was the question?
How long? Till July. Got some time. Get going.
Jen, I can get a whole bunch of boxes from the warehouse.
Yes. Perfect.
All right.
Pool heaters.
Perfect.
All right, let's stand as we bless our kiddos in song.
We love you. We bless you. We truly, truly appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you.
So it is. Let us close with the prayer for protection and the peace song together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power.
The presence of God watches
Over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine. Let's sing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.